Hello, and in this video we're going to be talking about Python lists. It's another one of those fundamental kind of data types needed in Python. So here, let's get right into it. What are lists? It's a Python data type that holds a collection of other Python objects. Let me get rid of this because it always distracts me. Yeah, so it's just kind of like a container full of objects. So here's a good example here. So we've got a counts list and it has 5, 125, 1, and -1. So this is a list of numbers. So it's just a collection of numbers. Okay. We can also have a list of strings. So here we got shapes. So circle, triangle, square. So you can see how these brackets kind of contain the list. And you can also have, it can be a mixed object. So here we go. So we've got a list called mixed, and so we've got a string apple. We've got a number 5, and then we've got x, which up here is defined as x equals 8. So we can see it's just a collection of Python objects. So if it's a Python object, it can be put into a list. One of the fundamental things about a list is it can be put into a for loop because it is an iterable. So we can see here we've got shapes, and that is circle, triangle, and square, each one of those strings, and we're going to loop through. So we're going to use the for loop to go through each one of the shapes and then make that into the variable shape and then print that out. So it's going to go through and print circle, triangle, square. As you can see, it does that. Okay, so we're going to start off with just creating an empty list. If you just create a list with just these two little brackets, it's just going to create an empty list. An empty list that is being called shapes. If you try to print that out, the interpreter will just give you those little brackets. Now you can count the items in a list. So once again, we've got our shapes list here, and we're going to use the length function, len. And the argument is going to be the list, and it's going to give us a count, and we'll print that out, and you can see that says 3. That makes sense. We've got 1, 2, and 3. And we can add an item to the list. So here we've got our shapes list, and I guess I made a mistake. For some reason, instead of saying pentagon, I decided to put into a pentagram. So I guess there's a little bit of evil magic in here. So here we go. We've got our list of shapes, and we're going to add a pentagram to that list with the append function. All right, so you can see lists have certain functions, and one of those functions, because they're an object, and so objects often have functions that you can call, and so shapes has a append function, and if you put an object inside there's an argument, it will be added. So then we will step through just like we did earlier. Oops. Where we printed out each one of the shapes here, and that for loop, we're going to do that again here, and you'll see circle, triangle, square, and then pentagram. So pentagram has been added to that list. Okay, and now we want to, how we access an item in a list. So we're going to access an item from the list by its ID, or index, not its ID, its index, okay? And what's important to remember there is that in most computing, an index is going to start at 0. All right. So when we counted these guys, it was 1, 2, 3. Right. So circle 1, triangle 2, square 3. With an index, it starts at 0. A lot of computer stuff starts counting at 0. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2. All right. So if we take the shapes list and we put these brackets and then put a number inside, that number will be corresponding to an index. So here we say we want from the shapes list the member that is index 0, and that is circle. And yeah, so it prints out circle. We can do that here now with a different one. So 0. So here we want number 2 from the index of this list. We can figure that out by just counting 0, 1, 2. So it seems to us that square will be the one that is printed out, and that is correct. Okay, pop, the last item from the list. Once again, here we just add a new list. We've stopped using the shapes. Now we're going to use our data list. and that data list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to pop that off and put that into the X variable. And so once again, this is another function that lists have, and pop will take the last one from the end and return it as the return, and it'll remove it from the list. So here we go, data pop, and then we're going to put the popped off object into X. So here we go. So we're going to pop, then we're going to print X, and then we're going to print that data list again to see what happened to it. All right. So remember, up here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We pop off 1, put it in X, print the X, and then print the data. So yes, 5 is the last one. That one gets popped off, put in X, gets printed, and then we print the entire list again. You can see number 5 has been popped off, no longer is a member of that list. Okay, now we want to insert an item into the list. So insert is another function of lists. Takes 2 arguments, the position you want it in and the actual item. So I'm not sure how you say this is a diagon. It's supposed to be some kind of 2-sided shape, which I've never seen that before. But so we're going to want to insert the diagon in index 1. All right, so here we go. So our indexes will be circle is 0, triangle is 1, and square is 3. So diagon, if we want to kind of keep this order, we want it to be in index number 1. All right, and we're going to print those shapes. And as you can see, that works. 0, 1, 2, 3. Diagon has been added to the list of shapes. Okay, now we want to update an item in the list. So once again, we can just indicate the member of the list we want, and then we can just change the value. All right, so here we're saying here's a shapes list. And we're saying the item with an index of 1, we want changed to purple. All right, so we say that is index 1, so 0, 1. So this triangle is going to be changed to purple. Now we're going to print it out and see if that's true. Yep, circle, purple, square. So you can change items in the list. You can also find if an item is in a list. Okay, so right here we're using strings, so we'll continue with using strings. So we've got a list, our shapes list that we've been using. If the string circle is in shapes, print yes, else no. So here we go. Yes, circle is in that list, so it's going to print yes. And we can also check if it's falsifiable. So we can say, is doggy in the list of shapes? Well, circle, triangle, square, no. Yes, and so the computer also agrees with us that no, doggy is not. The string doggy is not in the list of shapes. You can also find the index of an item in a list. So once again, we're using our shapes list. We want the location. So we're going to use the index function here, and we're going to give it an object. We're going to give this string triangle, and then that function will return a location, or the index number, okay? Which we're calling location here. So shapes index with an argument of triangle, and then we're going to print out that location. That location is 1. All right, so we've got circle 0, triangle is 1. We're looking for triangle. It returns an index of 1. That is correct. We can also count the instances of it in a list. Lists aren't unique, so you can have duplicates, and this is a good example here. Our data, we have a list of numbers. We have 1, 2, 1, 5, 1. We can see that there are duplicates in there, and then we can use the count function of lists. So we use that, have that data list. We use its count function. We give it the argument of 1. So that's going to go through that list, and it's going to see how many occurrences of 1 are there. And there are 3. All right. You can delete a specific item from the list by index. All right. So if we have shapes, well, we got the shapes here list again. Ooh, shapes list again. We want to remove the index of 1. So that would be 0, 1. We want to delete triangle. So we're actually going to use the delete keyword, D-E-L, D-E-L, and that's going to delete that member of the list. And you can see we're going to print that list after the delete, and it worked. We've got circle and square, so that triangle has been deleted. We can also delete it by value. So here we go. We've got shapes. We say we want to remove the value circle and print it out, and it did that, removed that value. You can delete a specific item from the list with the pop. So remember that pop, if there's no argument, it'll give you the last one. If you specify an argument, it will use that index to pull it out. So here we go. We say we are going to pop out index 2 of the list data. So we've got, this will be index 0, 1, 2. So it's going to pop out that 3, remove it from the list. It's going to return it and give it to X. All right, and then we're going to print out X and then print out the list to see what happened. So here we go. X is 3, and then our list is missing the number 3. Remember that those indexes start at 0. We can also sort lists. So here we go. We've got another list of data, and that is 22, 3, 88, 10, and 3.1. We have another function available in that list. There's a bright light over there, called sort. So if you call sort on a list, it will sort that data. So here we go. That did it. So 3, 3.1, 10, 22, 80. So, okay. You can also reverse. So here we go. I've got a list here that is already kind of sorted. 1, 2, 100, 2, 3, 1, and 2000. And if we use the reverse function of that list, it will reverse the order. All right, we can also combine lists through concatenation. So we've got numbers that are less than 5 and numbers that are more than 5. And then we're gonna combine those two and make it into a variable called less than 10. Hopefully that wasn't too convoluted, but see, we've got this list and this list, and then we're gonna combine them together. And we're gonna print out that less than 10. You can see all those numbers have been combined together. So all the members have been combined together into a much larger list now. We can copy lists. This may be a little bit surprising and maybe counterintuitive, but here we go. We've got the shapes list, circle, triangle, square, once again. We're going to do what you would think maybe intuitively would be the right thing to do, is to make a new list called more shapes and then assign it the value of shapes. But check out and see what happens when we delete one of them. So we're deleting a member of more shapes and then printing out the shapes list. You can see that the delete action that was done on more shapes actually affected the shapes list because they're really the same list. All right, so if you want to, this is only good for Python 3.3 plus, I believe, which you really should be trying to use the most current version of Python. It always has new goodies and you don't want to be left behind. Just talk to anybody who's been left behind in Python 2 land. It's no fun. So here we go. Basically the same code. We've got a list of shapes, and then we're going to use another function on shapes. It's a function of lists. So shapes.copy, and we're going to do that same thing. We're going to delete an object in more shapes, print out the original list, and then print out the copy. And you'll see only the copy had it deleted. So don't use Python 2. What about Python 2? My little note down here. I skipped ahead again. I do that quite often. What about Python 2? Don't use Python 2. Just don't do it. Especially if you're watching this video because you don't know what lists are and you're trying to learn what lists are, do not use Python 2. Python 2 is old. If you're having to use some legacy code and you're trying to figure out how Python 2 works, good luck. There's a lot of other resources, but you probably shouldn't watch this video. Okay. Oh, I think sorting lists. I thought we already did sorting lists. Yes, we did. So we got to duplicate. Okay, slicing lists. So we can cut up lists. All right. So we're going to cut up lists. We're going to have data as 1 through 9. We want to cut up that data. So the first value is going to be our starting index, and the other one is going to be our ending index. All right. So we want to start at index of 2 and end at index of 4. So 0, 1, 2, and then we're going to go 3, and then 4 is where we stop. So we think it's going to print out 3 and 4, and look, there it does. So you're able to cut out pieces of the list with slice. Oh, we are at the end of our video. the video is over. All right. I thought we had more to do. That's very good. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was useful to you. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to see more Python tutorials, subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And I hope to see you again. So thank you very much for watching this video and have a very good day.